Welcome to the Taking Charge podcast. This is your host, John Olson. I'd like to talk to you about my third book, but it's the second book that's about my life. It's Taking Charge. I wrote it many years ago about my life, about the mistakes I made, finances, and my divorce, and growing up in New Plymouth, Idaho, boot camp when I was in the Navy, life after the Navy, returning to New Plymouth after a failed relationship with a gal, and trying to get into real estate. A week, Olson. It's kind of about the death of my mother, which she died right after my birthday. She died that morning after my birthday. Always aware, the journey of my life was the first book I wrote about my life. It was always aware. It means you always aware around what's happening around you. You're always aware of things going on around you. You're always on watchful around your space. It's that way you can stay safe. Also, the main reason why I went into the Navy was to get out of where I was, and why I wanted a different life. I wanted a real job, per se. I wanted trade. I was tired of working on farm. I was tired of milking cows, and I, I was tired of being broke. But even though I was in the Navy, I was still always broke because I wanted to establish credit. Well, it ended up being more than more and more and more till I was in debt up to my eyebrows and I couldn't keep up with credit cards. And then as soon as I got some of them paid off, she used them to pay off bills, then turned around and spent the money. Well, then when I went out on cruise, she refinanced the car. She kind of talked to me about refinancing the car, and I later asked her about that and what she had done with the money. Well, she paid. She said she paid it on bills. Well, that wasn't the half of it. I could have got in trouble big time because the Navy frowns on you not paying your bills. Well, I come back off a cruise. My maintenance chief, he tells me that somebody's been calling for me, looking for me. Well, I happened to be on watch that one day, and I received the call of the person who was looking for me. It was a credit. Um, he was wanting their money to get paid. It was from Citibank, which I owed over $8,000 basically. Well, it was them. That made me want to dig deeper into other bills to see if they had gotten paid over the 6 months I was gone, 7 months I was gone. Well, I find out a month or two into the cruise, they were all let go, every one of them, and not even ending bills was paid. I had sent her home from California, so she didn't have to pay rent. All she had to do was take care of the son and pay the bills. Basically, is all she had to do. I was sending her majority of my money at the time, but she couldn't keep up with the bills. Well, I never did find out what fully went on. I kind of know what went on, but short story short, I could have gotten in trouble and forced to pay the bills, and then turn around and show them receipts that I paid the bills month by month. Is the way they force you to pay the bills. Well, that's what she could have. That's what I could have ended up having to do. But I didn't have no $8,000 or $7,000 or I don't know what the final total was. It was a lot of money. But yeah. So needless to say, I didn't trust her with money. Anyway, there's a couple of plugs I'd like to plug in. I'm not getting paid for them, but still, though, I like to endorse them, basically. Kari, she's dealing with Norwegian heritage. Kari.com. I'll put them down in the description when I'm done. Dale of Norway, us.daleofnorway.com. Nordic Socks, get pampered in the north. You can pick them up at Nordic.Socks.com. And then, being that I was in the Navy, I want to support Bone Frog. It's founded and operated by Navy personnel, a group of Navy people, the former Navy. BoneFrogCoffee.com is where you can pick up the Bone Frog coffee. Or I even heard you can pick it up at Albertsons stores if there's an Albertsons store near you, I think. Don't quote me on that. But back to my story. I didn't trust her, so I ended up in the end divorcing her. Not because of that. I just didn't trust her, period. Basically, along the line. I kind of lost all respect for her, basically. And there was 5 cruises that I went on. The one cruise that I really liked was, actually, there was like 3 or 4 places that I really liked and want to go back to visit. That's Greece, France, Spain, and Australia. Well, France, yeah, it's definitely changed. The whole complexion has changed nowadays compared to when I went there back in the 90s. It's a whole different ball game now. Greece is that way too, pretty much. And as a matter of fact, Australia is even actually that way too. But I really enjoyed myself there. I like the shopping there too, in those places. But how do you mistakes is learning in life. Are you resilient enough to weather the mistakes? Are you able to learn from the mistakes? How did you learn from the mistakes? What mistakes did you have and how did you learn from the mistakes? Put them down in the comments. I like to read them. after this video. I was stationed on both sides of the world, on the east coast and down to Florida, and then on the west coast down in California. I enjoyed both places. One year down in Florida, we got hit by a freak snowstorm, and I didn't have no problem getting around in that freak ice storm, but I know a lot of people that did, and they ended up closing down the bridges. Well, one of the things though too, because they freeze real pretty readily, because there's no heat. All the cold air could be transported up underneath the bridge too, so which aids in it freezing over too. I like woodworking. I've always wanted my own business, and woodworking was the business that I got into, basically home decor. I had built this basically as an award shelf, but you could use it for any. Let your imagination roam. You could basically use it for a number of different things. Shaker pegs is what I use for the pegs, and 4x4 wood, and this one I put in some thought for the spacing of them. This one I needed to put a little bit more thought into, because the spacing is kind of off, as you can notice, from here to here compared to from here to here. This is more narrow here compared to up here. And this peg here is not exactly center. I like to center the pegs, start basically from the center and work my way out. Well, I didn't exactly do that. Then I was going to put eye bolts here with a chain hooking here with eye bolt and chain. Well, it didn't exactly look right, so that's why I've used the 45s for the corner pieces, which it made it look. I think it made it look a lot better than it would with the eye bolts and the chain. If you like this content, subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification bell. It helps with my algorithms. You get shared more often by Yahoo. I'm not Yahoo, but YouTube.